Yeah, I think about that too.
I'm still carrying.
We're back on the record.
Okay. That'll do it. Now you go. Wait on Mary.
No pressure.
No pressure, I did not say that. All right, are we ready? Yes, ma'am. All right, call this meeting back to order at 2:17 p.m. and we will begin with parks. Yes. You're up. Go with it. You change it. Yeah, make it good.
Make it good. Memorial Park, we have 4,000 there. That's mostly for our flags, and we order in bulk. At the end of the weekend.
Okay.
Minor equipment and anything that we need for our equipment. No, we do here, anything like that. So we left it the same. No change there. Park equipment maintenance, no change there as well. Park maintenance supplies, that's where we buy all of the needs that we need, like paper towels or even park equipment we need to fix or anything gets broken, that's what we take.
Replacing swing sets, all that stuff. And I think, so the goal this year too is to focus primarily on Johnson Park this year, right? Because we've invested so much in previous years in equipment.
And that would include new trash cans at Johnson.
That's under capital.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Let's jump it down.
Thank you, Craig. Any questions on?
Yeah.
Professional services.
Are those the people that mow?
No, so
No, that's
professional
the lawn
services
care.
is our True Green agreement. Gilbert is looking into, so True Green, we entered into this agreement a couple years ago to try to improve the soil and the grass on our baseball fields, football field, and then within Memorial Park. So they come out and treat it pretty regularly. We're not seeing an improvement after a couple of years. We're really not seeing much of a difference at all. So Gilbert was going to compare what Techstar, I think is the name of our lawn care service provider, see if they offer similar services and at what cost. But that's currently what professional services covers, is any kind of special treatment on the ground within Memorial Park, the football field, and the baseball fields at Johnson.
Trying to keep them healthy and green.
We were trying to get them more green and get the weeds out, particularly on the baseball field. I mean, that is those fields are our most heavily used fields that we have. And they were in really bad shape. Now, we did see some improvement with grass growth when we paid a little extra for seeding and that kind of stuff. But as far as improvements from ant infestations or weeds, we're really not noticing much of a difference.
Right.
So
Okay.
we want to see if we can get a little better program put in place, because our baseball fields are so heavily used. We want those to be nicer fields.
So the lawn care services are the people who mow the grass.
Yes.
That's going up 30%.
Go ahead, sir.
So there is more area they're mowing now. So that's the reason why.
Where?
So because we had,
No, go ahead.
okay, because we added last year we added the well sites as well as the.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't
That
part of the
was
original.
not part of the
Okay.
original plan, so we.
And right-of-ways.
And right away.
We had some right-of-ways as well that weren't getting mowed.
So that's why
Thank
we
you.
decreased
Some
that.
of those were.
How about Everman Parkway and Race? At the four-way stop, all along the sides, by the stop signs.
That's Elton's property, Fort Worth.
Oh, okay, no, that's,
Leader property.
That's not us.
is that us?
Yes, sir.
Can they not do it?
Where is it?
I wouldn't know where it is.
Along Everman Parkway, there is a,
Oh, I thought we were on Race. Everman Parkway,
And Race.
right, Everman Parkway and Race. You mean the strip on Race or the strip on Everman
The
Parkway?
intersection, right where the stop signs are,
Right,
especially going eastbound on Everman Parkway, on your right.
Where the McDonald's is in?
No, other side.
You're talking about what
Across the
Sales
housing
Rails?
probably. close to Hilton property,
Okay,
where the stop sign is. But it's blocked. There's so much weeds.
I think all of that property on that end of that block is Hilton's, except on the west end, in the side of the park.
Give
That
me
long
just a
strip
second.
is Everman's.
Because he
And then
mowed
the-
this recently. He mowed his park
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah, that
There
was
was
still
a strip right there by the stop sign, and you can't tell that that's a right turn only.
He's probably thinking that belongs to,
Somebody
Somebody else.
Like
If
another.
it, if it belongs to us, we could add it.
Yeah,
This
right
is- This is Everman Parkway.
Right,
There is this strip here
right.
from Everman Parkway
That has
south.
the-
That's what you're
That all
saying.
belongs to the
Sign.
city, and then this strip here that belongs to the city. This property is Mr. Hilton's property.
okay, so in the corner itself, move the cursor up right there and to your left just a little. That
No, I'm
block
sorry,
where
I'm
the
sorry.
stop sign is,
Yes.
that is Everman.
That is Everman.
Okay, then
That's
we need
what
to
I'm
make sure
talking
that gets mowed, because like Linda said, you can't
So-
see around.
So we
You
go.
could just as well have them add the
Yes, it's where the church sign
section
is.
to the contract. It's not gonna add
No, I'm saying.
$2.
It looks ratty, and McDonald's is
Wide
coming,
enough
we
for a
need that
four-lane
place
right
to
away,
look
right away.
perfect.
And you can't tell it's a right turn only.
Right, yeah. Also that right turn only, we need a bigger sign, we need it painted on the ground, we need something that clearly shows
We're gonna
that
get
right
to
turn
streets,
only.
so
Yes.
that's all we
All
get to
right,
streets.
hang on to that thought, don't let it
Okay.
forget. Oh, that thought, okay,
Okay.
I like that. Okay, so,
Capital expenditures
go ahead, so,
Capital expenditures, we asked for 40,000
to do what?
to Johnson Park.
And to do what?
So we're doing the
Cover all your
new trash cans, we're gonna be doing new benches, we're gonna be doing.
it's expensive trash cans.
That's the awnings.
We have previously in our parks, we've had those junky plastic trash cans that they just look.
The purple.
And they blow, they
And they
blow.
blow away.
Yes, and dump their trash.
We wanna get the nice park trash cans, the nice park benches replaced over there. Similar to kind of the park benches that we've been putting in, like what you see at Memorial Park, and I think we put a couple in at the park too, didn't we?
Yeah.
And on the concrete pads. So we wanna get that same style brought on over there. We need to replace, repair, and fix the swing sets that are over there, the playground equipment that's over there. Either get them repainted, resurfaced, whatever it may be. And then we will have finished off before the end of this budget year, the canopies that are over there. Those are getting fixed currently.
What about the tables? Are they okay?
We replaced those tables. We got a really good deal because one of the problems we were having is the picnic tables that were over there before were the wooden painted picnic tables. And high school kids, because it's so close to high school kids were constantly carving into it, tearing it up. We would find all kinds of obscenities written on there. So we got the metal mesh type put over there that are coated, so that way you can't write obscenities on it and that kind of stuff. It kind of prohibits some of that stuff, but they're still nice picnic benches. So those are over there. 40,000 is a pretty hefty amount, but one of the things that he wanted to try to do was to add some canopies over the playground equipment over there to provide a shaded playground area. Similar to what we have over here at Pittman on that playground, there's some shaded spots over that playground as well.
Kind of.
We don't have to do that. I mean, I know you've got some other ideas, so we're open.
Yeah, like I said, I think it would be a good thing to do the court, the basketball court, make it a pickleball court. Get rid of the goals and make it a pickleball court. I think that's gonna bring a lot of people because they're really liking pickleball. And then as far as the equipment,
Which equipment?
the swing set and all that,
Playground.
okay? I think it would be good to have just one of the little areas for the kids to climb and stuff like that.
Your jungle gym type of
Kind
thing.
of, yeah, jump
Yeah.
thingy.
Kind of one of those things, you know, because the swings, right now, there's no swings on it at all. I mean, I'd
Just
get
an
rid of
apron.
that. I'd get rid of it and prepare for something else there.
I will tell you, I mean, I do think we need to have an adequate playground space over there.
Yeah.
Primarily, if not for anything else, but that is a very busy park during baseball season. And
Yes,
those parents that have kids that aren't playing baseball have nothing for those kids to do.
Right.
And I think that's been a complaint from the Spurs
it
Association
needs
for
to
a
be
while.
on the other side, closer to the baseball fields.
Maybe doing something
So the
different.
kids aren't running.
So I guess the question would be this, and is what kind of funding would you like to allocate? Because we're not gonna have hard numbers tonight. What kind of funding would you like to allocate towards capital improvements at that park? And then Gilbert and staff will have to go back and put together a plan of what we can achieve with that funding and give some options to bring back later that council can approve with whatever funding's in here. And then if we do have things, October comes around, we don't have any budget amendments we need to offset with ARPA, we have some extra ARPA expenses, that may be something we can use ARPA funding for.
The grant too, is the park related, was it the CDBG?
Well, that was a one-time CDBG coronavirus. Yeah, that was for outdoor play spaces.
So, but
we
it's
can look
also worth looking into because there could be potentially some grants out there specific for parks. Parks.
What about Johnson Park basketball court?
Right.
So,
Yes.
yes.
And we've been
Isn't
after
that
the
a
dog
pickleball
park
court?
forever.
So one of Gilbert's ideas was maybe converting the current splash pad. Okay, let's talk about the splash pad.
It's history.
Yes.
But you need to know numbers. So Gilbert has done his due diligence and went out and asked some companies to assess our splash pad and tell us what it would cost to repair our splash pad and bring it up to current code standard. And the answer to that was $750,000.
Whoa.
Which is about what we paid for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty close.
No.
Okay, that's not happening. Plan B.
So in talking about that space, we had shot around a couple ideas, tearing down the equipment, making that a seating area for parents, maybe adding a water feature in the middle, like a water fountain of some kind. Gilbert also had an idea of maybe converting that into a dog park area. Since we do now allow dogs into our parks as long as they're on leashes, since there's a fence already constructed there, we can convert that into a dog park area to allow dogs off leash to run around, maybe put a couple of play things in there for dogs.
We'll always ask for dog park.
I will tell you, we have had to run off a couple of people. They've been doing some dog training over there in the mornings. And we've had to unfortunately run them out because they're doing that off leash. That's not allowed in our parks. And there's no
So there's
fenced
no
in spaces.
trees either, so there's.
That's correct. We can plant some. I mean, we could certainly try to get some funding there, but I guess the idea is gonna be is how much are you wanting to invest in where? And then we will go back and have to identify what grant fundings are available and then what we can do with the allocated funding that you approve.
Well, you think about that, what to have the pickleball court.
There is, I mean, the expense of a dog park would essentially be fencing, fencing and
And a few
materials.
trash cans.
And
Sure,
then move
sure.
the equipment, playground stuff, on the other side of pavilion, because it'd be closer for the parents,
Yeah.
baseball area.
Okay.
And then, you'd have.
All of them are.
You mean just
Sure.
for opposite
Sure,
side?
take all.
I thought you said
Yeah,
where they're all.
because
There you
that's
go.
the ways for the parents, for the kids to be over there.
Can I make a suggestion with the basketball court thing?
Huh?
Make a suggestion with the basketball court thing? Because it's the same way that we had it set up in the rec in Richland Hills when I was there. Those basketball courts do get used. Yes, it can be, crime attractive, yes, but it's anywhere. So,
Is it open now?
it's not, it
We're
was,
not using
but,
it.
But we got basketball courts on this part,
right, but the kids that,
so,
and I know it's attractive for excited more kids, but, keeping the goals in there, you could put in 2 pickleball courts side by side, or even if it's 1, having the net in the very center, so they can only play half court. Makes the rivalry maybe they're a little bit less worked out on than half court. You still go accomplish the same goals, but you still have a multi-use court. I love the pickleball thing. I'd love to take the firemen down there and have them compete even more doing that. But I get where if we want to keep a basketball court there as well, we can still accomplish both goals by leaving a permanent net up, and then what we have happening.
So I don't want to get too much into the weeds of designing a park.
yeah.
We're on budget.
I'm just
Sorry,
getting rid of the basketball.
we'll be here all day if we start talking about all the different park ideas. I think what it boils down to is how much funding would council like to see invested in capital in parks this year? And then we'll go back with staff and we'll find out what we can do with that funding and come up with a parks improvement plan. Maybe that's part of what we rope into the capital improvement plan over the next several years. Keeping in mind the ideas that have been discussed here, dog park, splash pad, the basketball court, playground items, all that stuff, and try to loop that in.
Well, and we kind of had talked about focusing more on Johnson Park this
Yes.
year because
Yes.
we've invested so
That's what
much
I'm
in this
talking about.
park. And so, with the exception of the splash pad, what we're doing there. But as far as the capital expenses and stuff,
Yeah.
we're kind of focusing
The
on.
only thing I do want to try to achieve this year with the splash pad is I would like to, at a minimum, deconstruct it and tear down the items, because we get asked all the time,
Yep.
when is it going to
Get it
reopen?
out of there, yeah.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's a heartbreaking conversation that you gotta have with kids that come up asking us, when are we gonna open it back up? I'd rather just remove that so they know.
Okay.
And it's not, and we're not in a position to repair that.
All right.
Plus, I worry very much so about the liability with that and the maintenance of it, ever since what happened in
Cost
Arlington with the brain
Yeah.
amoeba issue that they have, so.
Something about the dog park, if we use that space, most dog parks, except for the one over there by Hannah Ranch, have a big dog area and a little dog area.
Yeah,
So that's just something to keep in mind. We don't necessarily have to do that.
Well, we
Keep it
talked
back.
about, the Animal Control Advisory Board talked about potentially having a dog park somewhere in
Yes.
adjacent to the animal shelter.
Yes.
That's where we're looking to put the animals. So
Yes.
maybe a part of
I would
the
love it.
design we include in that.
Yeah, when we get
Oh,
the
there.
new one.
We're working on it.
Yes.
Okay, parks,
All right.
something else.
So what do we decide on that? Are we leaving it at 40?
No, yeah, capital expenditures, yes. But I wanted to throw out a different way of looking at, you're asking the council to come up with a ballpark figure so y'all could deal with what we wanted to maybe spend that money on. How about y'all come up with some ideas to put in the park with some funding on it? I mean, otherwise, what are we gonna do? We're gonna go
Okay,
with
yeah, but like, are we looking at
$50,000?
200,000, 100,000?
That's what I'm asking.
How
50,000?
How do we know?
Fund this other part. What was it?
The Noel playground was just under $200,000 for that tiny little playground. Now, the majority of that cost was focused towards the surfacing and the AstroTurf. The equipment is very expensive.
Yeah,
The board is
especially
very
the
expensive.
inclusive type.
I'm not talking expensive.
Now, if we wanted to go with the engineered wood fiber, like what you see at Pittman Park on the other playgrounds, that's certainly a cheaper alternative, but how much did it cost you to
They're constantly having to
replace all that this last year? Wasn't it 10 grand?
Like 10,000.
$10,000 just for the engineered wood fiber that goes in the bottom.
He
That
needs to
doesn't
replace
include
more.
the playground.
Yeah.
He told me the other day he needs to replace more of it.
Yeah.
It blows away.
Replace more of what?
The bark, the mulch.
When
that
you,
they have.
when you have a playground for insurance purposes, there has to be a certain
The pea
amount.
gravel stuff on the bottom?
We don't have pea gravel, we have,
Yeah, but
it's
that's
like
the stuff
mulch,
you're
yes.
talking
Yes. So-
$10,000?
Yes, ma'am.
It has to be so it's.
Of course.
It has to be so deep by insurance standards, and so, we wanna make sure we comply with that, because God forbid a kid get hurt.
What about some of those you see like at the schools? Like say like at Townley School, they have a couple of those little equipments out in the playground. Has the little umbrellas over it, kind of.
75 to 100 for one of those.
Okay, so,
For commercial grade, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's because it's commercial grade.
Right, yeah.
And we would need something
Just
sturdy.
the canopy at Howell Elementary, just the canopy they put over, that
Uh-huh.
canopy alone was $30,000.
Okay,
So that kind of gives you a
How come
ballpark
that much money in
idea.
their budget?
so we're talking
Oh, I
at
don't
least
know.
200 to 300.
He did, he called them and specifically asked them because he likes it.
Get us.
Or he did, one of them.
So make the park
About 300,000?
will get us.
I mean, that would achieve quite a bit.
Yeah, quite a
Yeah,
bit,
that would be about what you need. But
I would say.
if you're gonna tell me that
I'd say either 200 to 300.
that's what you wanna put
Well,
into
let's
this
go
budget
with
now.
3,
I would go with 3.
because we can always chip it down.
Okay.
Go for 3.
Where we gonna pull it
You
from?
want me to put 300,000 into this budget?
Well.
She wanted to,
I thought we were talking ethereally,
No, so what I'm asking is for budget purposes,
Oh, for budget purposes.
how
Yes,
much would
ma'am.
you like us to put in here for this budget to come out of general fund? We will go back.
$150.
dollars.
We will go back and identify what other potential funding sources we can get, whether through grants,
Grants,
CDBG, coronavirus,
Oh,
those
okay,
kinds
okay,
of
okay.
things. And then we will develop a capital improvement plan for parks and bring back those ideas to get your final approval, and we can identify the stages we can move forward.
Can I do 80 to 100 with this budget? Or you mean that we have to keep it way below 80?
I mean, this is your budget, so we'll do whatever it is you wanna do.
It's
but-
again, one of those things, let's put it in if that's what you want, and then as we get revenues, we can adjust as, you know, we may
Let's
have,
go with 100.
we may have to come back and say, oh, we can only do 50 right now. or
That's
whatever.
right.
But shoot for it.
It's easier to drop down than it is to push up.
Let's do it.
100.
Okay,
So.
I'll make the change.
Wait. What, okay, what are the chances with the grants?
It depends on what the different grant opportunities are. So if there are county grants, different funding opportunities out there we can try to identify. It depends on who the funding source is as to what that process looks like and what the restrictions and ties are that come through that. Some grants are matching grants, meaning that if we get a $200,000 grant, they're gonna want us to match $200,000 to that. And so there's so many different grant opportunities out there. We have a source through Lexipol that we can use to identify grant opportunities. So we'll go back and we'll research that and see what options might be available. We'll see, historically, we've used CDBG funds for water line projects. I do know you can use it for some other things. I don't know that parks is one of them. I know that they had CARES Act funds that were dedicated that we were able to use for the Noel Playground because in accordance with the CARES Act, it encouraged outdoor spaced play,
Activity, yeah.
which was completely tied in with COVID. I don't know that normal CDBG has that option, but we'll look at it.
Okay, let's go for some.
I still think that
Yeah.
it's good to start and then.
That's right.
If we get grants. I'm just trying to think, a reasonable thing to work with.
I'm gonna stress over 100,000. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm already stressing at where our budget is now, so I am gonna stress at 100,000. I'm just telling you.
Okay, I don't
How
understand.
about 70?
I think our budget, our expenditure budget, based off what I think revenues may look like, I think it's already tight.
So 75.
Or 70?
We'll put in whatever it is you want to put in. I just think
Well, we
we
don't want
will
to
have to
hinder it.
prioritize and come back.
Exactly. We don't want to stress you or hinder the budget.
I mean, it's not gonna stress me, just be prepared, we're gonna have to have another meeting, probably explicitly to come back and discuss
Okay, but-
what council priorities are and what you want to cut.
Okay, but at 40,000, that's not gonna do much for that park.
No, that was
So-
the basics, buying
Those are
trash cans and
basics,
the.
make it look nice, a little bit
Well,
better
it's
than
not
what it is
going
now.
to, we know that.
That's just cosmetic, that's a dent.
That's cosmetic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
40,000.
that's nothing.
Sure, I
So this
completely
is
agree.
not really planned to make Johnson Park decent looking.
Well, we'll have nice trash cans.
And pretty chairs.
And nice
And,
benches.
and let me be clear, you're not necessarily stressing me out, but I think it's, we're going to have to prioritize what the functions are gonna
And
be.
we want to
And we
do
have a
the
lot of
right thing.
requests.
Okay.
We've talked about the need for firefighter staffing needing to be increased. We know that animal control has significant requests, and we've got to increase there. There's a lot of, so it's gonna be your priorities. I mean, certainly if your priority is the parks, then we'll focus on the parks. But I just want you to bear in mind, we're gonna have to come back to the table, I think, and figure out what to cut. We can put in 100,000. We can put that in here. We'll roll with it. Let's see if we get lucky on revenues and where we're at.
And looking at grant opportunities in between now and
Yeah.
another
We
discussion.
could just leave it here and let them work on the grants and see how that plays out.
I think you need to put an amount in. I think you need to put an amount in.
So if wherever we put the amount, is it gonna be on the same line item that 40,000 is on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, how about we make it 90,000?
Just make it 100. If you go even.
I was gonna go 185, but I mean, yeah. All right, 100, make it 100.
I'll see if that
There goes more
Yeah.
firemen.
Listen to the radio signals and.
It's like-
And then we're not gonna have to change anything, right? So let's just go ahead and go.
Okay,
Yes, because when we do the next round, if it's not feasible, we'll chip it down.
Exactly.
Okay, that's what we're gonna do. All right,
okay,
We're done with
100,000
this
it is.
I can hear the mayor now having a heart attack. What?
Well, you weren't here.
We're gonna
Mayor.
have
You left me in charge.
All right,
It's still you, go right in.
we're on page 12, Public Works.
All right, oh, here we go.
Focus on the amounts that haven't changed. We may have to go back and change
Public
that.
Works, focus on what has changed.
All right.
I see that it's changed. Oh my gosh.
There's not much change.
Computer, there's that computer again.
Okay, what's changing here?
That was
It's
just
the
changed.
same, let's see. Well, uniforms only $500 more for new employees, you get,
$500.
let's
equipment.
Supplies.
Minor equipment went up 1,000.
Yes.
Plus he has a new employee that he has to buy.
Employees, so we gotta
Gotcha,
get some
gotcha.
tools.
All right,
Street maintenance,
wait a minute, let me get there, okay.
where we put public events.
Okay, wait, stop right there.
Where are we?
So the street maintenance,
Yes.
so as you recall from our meeting on Tuesday, we
Right.
took away the expenditures from the street fund. And we put it over into the general fund to have the street maintenance expense.
Oh, okay, okay,
Remember?
okay.
So we zeroed it out over there so that we can have
Okay.
that fund grow. And,
So it's just moved
so, yes, yeah,
pages, okay.
it moved from one fund to the other. So anyway, that's why you'll see that's a new.
Street maintenance and traffic control supplies, correct?
And the other line item, the public event is a new line item that is for the National Night Out where, Public Works, they have,
Which one?
they do public relations and
Oh,
stuff like
okay.
that. They have things that they need to pay for that. So that's what that line
Okay,
is.
so we've done National Night Out before, where was that money budgeted?
It wasn't budgeted, which is part of the problem.
Here's
So-
They've worked to try to get donations and stuff that they could.
I got you.
Sometimes it would hit,
So look at that.
yeah, sometimes it would hit miscellaneous or other line items, but, I'm trying to keep it separate, right, so we can kind of have an idea of how much we spent.
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so if we do get donations, we just won't spend that much.
Right.
It would hit that fund, but we would have donations to
Yeah,
offset.
we'd offset.
Okay, cool.
Not even at 65,000 for the,
Straight maintenance.
yeah, it's, that's not gonna do much either.
Well,
That is an increase from what we've done in the past. We have seen an increase in street maintenance. You wanna talk about the cubic tons and stuff that you've used on
Yeah,
asphalt
we've
this year?
done
Cost?
over 290 cubic tons of asphalt this year.
You gotta have a lot more than that.
So, and it's still in, we know there's still a lot of more potholes and stuff like that. So we raised it, what was it, 10,000? I wanna say.
Yeah, we increased it by
10,000
10,000. Now, this is for street maintenance. This is not for street improvement. This is street maintenance. So
Right.
for repairs of potholes, crack fill reseal, any
Maintain.
restriping that needs to be done.
Right.
We do not have overflowing cash from street improvement tax, but keep in mind, we've got Ray Street is being completed. We have not scheduled anything with Enon because the Fort Worth project regarding the sewer line is still kind of in limbo. I don't want to spend a dime on
we're not
Enon
doing it.
if they're gonna come in here and replace the whole road anyway.
We already did
That is a waste of infrastructure. That's a throwaway infrastructure.
Yeah.
Forest Hill Drive is slated to be completely rebuilt. Wichita is slated to be completely redone. Both those projects are already past engineering or either in engineering phase or nearing the completion of the engineering phase. We are working with the city of Fort Worth right now on their 2025, 2026 bond package to redo the intersection of Ray Street, Everman Parkway, and Shelby to widen Everman Parkway through our city where it joins up and maintains 4 lanes all the way through. So we have a lot of road projects that are in the works. I would like to see our street fund build up this year a little bit. Let's let it build up because our next projects are going to have to be focused on our smaller residential streets. And I think that's likely going to have to come from some sort of bond funding. Meaning if we go within the next couple of years
For a refund.
for a refunding of our bond and we look to do a bond package, we will need to include those streets on that bond fund. So we're not saying we're not addressing streets. I think we are absolutely addressing streets. I'm saying for budgeting purposes out of general fund right now, we don't, what was that?
Sound like the AC or
Oh,
something else?
I
should have come up with that. We lost the Volkswagen.
I don't think we allocate any general fund dollars towards a street project this year.
What about marking lines, lane lines?
That's covered under street maintenance.
Okay, is that in the works? Yeah.
On which or where?
In front of Souter?
Yes.
Or
Forest
Yes.
Hill.
So we've been working with COG on that project to get that done. So yes,
Okay,
we're trying to get that done before school starts.
okay, so here's another question on that. As soon as, I don't know what kind of paint we use, but 6 weeks after we stripe it, it's gone.
And he's tried several different,
Yeah.
Can we put buttons down, those little yellow thingies or something?
the reflective
Yes.
knobs.
I mean, I'm throwing ideas out, y'all do whatever, but I'm not kidding, those lines just
Those higher,
evaporate.
a lot higher?
Yes, but we also have a different, I reached out to a different company that came out this week
Uh-huh.
and shows what the product they have that they say it lasts longer. It stays, it's reflective as well. So we're gonna try that product too and see if it's even better.
And we don't care what kind, we just want it to last.
Right, exactly.
I mean, we don't get to Thanksgiving and.
He's about to work with a new vendor on this reflective stuff. That's the same vendor that's about to do South Ray Street. Yeah, so we're about to have South Ray Street, once it's complete, it'll be striped, double yellow, fog lines, crosswalk, all that stuff.
They're gonna
With
stripe
the
it?
new- Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yay! We can use that as our example.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're gonna test it out, see if it works, how well does it work, how long does it last? And then
And then at Forest Hill and Enon, where there's that turn-only lane that goes onto Enon.
Nobody knows that.
I mean, if you want to turn left, you're in the left-hand lane. Otherwise, that car's rear end next to you is right in the middle. So we definitely need something else. We need something there. Maybe a bigger turn-only sign. Hey, you stupid, turn right. Something. People are idiots. It does not.
Flashing arrow.
Okay. All right, so street maintenance is actually potholes and fixing stripes and stuff like that.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, traffic control supply, I think I had another question. Maybe
That was another one that was brought over from the other fund,
it's,
the traffic
Okay,
control.
yes, but this one's going up $6,000.
Yes, that's because there was like, 4,000 in this one and like 6,000 on the other side. So we just combined it to the one under general.
So we had the same line item in two different places.
In two different funds, one in
Oh,
general
yeah.
fund, yes.
That's strange, yeah. Okay, so he just fixed that. Okay,
Yes.
good. All right.
But I came into.
So it's not really a raise, it's just combined. Okay. What are you sending to school?
we gotta send the guys to school for like asphalt training.
Yep.
and try to get things better.
How to paint a straight line? No, I'm kidding.
I'm sorry.
Right color. Right color. Don't do this.
So salary and all that.
And sanitation this is our,
So
Waste.
utility sanitation is going up. This is a 8% increase. That's what we're anticipating. That is what the maximum that they are allowed to increase their utility contract each year. But it will also likely be a little bit higher. This is a pretty conservative number because remember, we are adding 202 residential utility,
Yes.
sanitation accounts, and recycling. So it will likely actually be a little bit higher than this year.
So,
But keep in mind, this is a wash account,
Yeah.
so we recoup
Yes.
that expenditure.
so this goes up here, if, on the other side, on the revenue side, it'll be up just the same.
on the water bill. Okay. Okay.
But we are anticipating about an 8% increase there.
When is our contract up for renewal?
We still have more than another year, but we can always come back and renegotiate at any time.
Okay.
The contract does allow for us to renegotiate, we just have to stay.
Okay. I just want to remember one trash day is picked up a week. Just keep that in mind.
We can meet with them and discuss that at any time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll save us a lot of money.
All right. Chief, you're up.
All right, you're up. Guess what? You just lost a fireman. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
We've been making do somehow, some way.
He's in the park.
Okay.
Increase on computers, just because there's always an annual, there's been a few, company software buyouts, and so I expect they're gonna go up on our rates for
Back up
the
to
computer programs.
the top one.
Oh, communications,
Yeah.
that's falls underneath, dispatch.
Okay.
Yeah. The computer programs, we use multiple different softwares for our reporting, for patient reports and, the inversion or fire incident reporting, so they always go up. Nothing, no change in all this good
Yes.
stuff.
ESP grant,
Is the
that's where
unit,
the-
is the
ESD grant
uniforms, included with the new people coming in?
So we generally purchase, we bulk purchase, that's like a few years ago, we bought a Cricut, so I actually do all the name and ranks, which I bulk, t-shirts, so we always keep those on hand. We buy bulk hats, and so, we have managed to make it a small hit whenever we bring in a new employee. And that's generally just their
Usually that used to be always.
It is, but we have repurposed and if there's a shirt that somebody who's recently left us and hasn't really worn, we'll repurpose that. So we try to make sure that we're as cost effective as we can.
It's the bunker gear and the helmets that are more expensive.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Eventually, we're gonna go, once we're in a better financial position, I would like to start buying the guys all the formal Class A, head to toe. I think they look sharp when we go to a formal event, something like that. But that's something that is upwards of $800,000 a person. So,
Okay.
not enough. Full-time, we're running 9 total, 3 per shift. As Chief Expenditure said, that leaves 2 on the ambulance and 1 on the ladder truck, which is nowhere near safe.
Whoa, what'd you call it? You call it ladder truck? Just making sure I heard you
I didn't say Quint, at least. I said ladder truck, so so they understand, because I can say truck.
He should have first grade English for us.
I still put truck in there, but I want to make sure they know that I'm speaking of the one with the ladder, not the one with the big tank.
Hey, we know the difference between the tank and the ladder.
We've been around a few.
Yeah.
So
All right, go ahead.
we're, part-time is a very, very costly venture, and it's very hard to find guys that will work. So we've got the financing to staff with 1 position on the nights and weekends, but it's just very hard to find guys that want to go work on their off duty and make less an hour and doing the same thing. So the only thing you can truly depend on at the end of the day is a full-time employee.
We have 9 total.
Nice.
And how many are you missing? 9
Currently,
total. 4?
1. I've only,
He's fully staffed. I mean,
No, I'm missing
well,
1.
but I mean,
So 10 total would be the optimum?
no, that's what she's asking. So he has 9 full-time funded positions.
Yes,
Oh, okay,
not including me.
right,
3 person.
okay, that's what I was after,
Yes.
okay, I didn't ask that.
Okay.
And safe and adequate would be 15, having 5 per shift.
Gotcha.
That's, that would just barely get us, that would be the minimum threshold of an FBA standard.
Gotcha.
All right, so what we're at.
Hmm.
Minor equipment.
Minor.
We increased it 5,000. That's just our incidentals, and everything, cost of everything is going up. So tools and miscellaneous little stuff, it's always going to go up. Public event, that is for the Celebrate America Festival. Obviously, I have said, and I'll go on record, my plan is to add at least 1 0 to that and get it from the sponsor, so.
Yeah, get it from the sponsor.
Yeah.
The
But
0 goes on the right-hand side, right?
yes, yeah, we're not, no decimal before, always after.
Okay.
Now I'm talking math, we're easy. I believe the additional personnel worked into this
Yes.
baseline? Are we doing 2 or 3? How do we-
2.
It's, you have 2 current vacancies and then 2 proposed.
Okay, say that a little louder, 2 current
Okay.
vacancies.
So it provides for 11 full-time firefighters plus the chief. Going
It's
from 9 to 11.
2, thanks.
on the paperwork from the salary presentation, it was included on
Okay. And the 11 excludes chief. Correct?
Yes, that'd be
Yes.
fine.
Okay, okay. And the extra 2 are included in here?
Yes, they're included in the total, yes.
Okay.
Now, mind you, that's the reason why we're as tight as we can on the rest of the budget, because in reality, I need 3 in order to make me uniform across the shift. So that makes me still have to have 1 shift that I had staff with a part-timer.
Gotcha.
So I still have that.
Gotcha.
Building maintenance,
That's not much.
just that, yeah,
It's a-
It's a new building.
basically a new building, yeah.
Yeah.
we try to do a lot of stuff ourselves, so. That usually falls back to needing a plumber or electrician, that we have always have issues with AC or something.
Gotcha.
Equipment maintenance, we went up slightly just because everything's going up. The original budgeted amounts for our annual PMs for the truck and for our bunker gear every year now we have to do 2 annual advanced cleanings and inspection for our bunker gear at the toe versus the 1 that we had to do before, so everything's going up a little bit. And
Who
those are
does the
also,
inspection?
we have an offsite location that does it in Austin. So we have one of our employees that drives it down and then it's back in 2 days.
Okay.
That's in order to stay compliant with TCAP.
Okay.
You see multiple different grant purchases, grant matching funds on here. Those are truthfully, other than the 25 ESD grant, the 25,000 ESD grant, that one is an every year thing that we get from Tarrant County Emergency Services District for either loose equipment, like this year we spent it all on a new fire hose, because we have almost all of our reserve hoses out of date, so spent 24,000 on fire hose. That's a great tool that they provide for us. That one never changes, but then the other ones that are down the bottom, 55406 and 403, those are to keep organized. 55406 has been what I put everything that our ARPA ambulance, the one that was the first one that's in service now, all of the cost for that one went into 55406. The next one is going to go into 403. It just helps us to keep track so that we can, when we audit after the fact, everything's good. And we make sure that we're,
Which ambulance
yeah,
you're spending money on.
and so we know we didn't miss any reimbursement, because I don't want to give free money away. Collection agency, we took that away because we hadn't seen anything this year. That's whenever they go after somebody for a medical bill that they didn't pay. So they've been pretty good about not charging us what they shouldn't. Contract labor, no, that's nothing. Professional services, we had nothing. Right? That was when we were going through it. That was mostly.
We did professional services.
What's it?
Yeah, we zeroed it out.
Yeah, okay. Then medical direction only went up just slightly. That's our doctor. Unfortunately, we are losing, I guess we can tell you now, it's a problem, we're losing Dr. Patel. So we're still staying within the same medical direction group, STMS. They've got multiple doctors, and they're all well-established ER physicians. Yeah, so we're now gonna move to Dr. Bertrand, so he'll be overseeing fire department, police department, Narcan administration, and dispatch services. So, but I've known him; he's been around for a while. So, and he'll be taking over all of Dr. Till's. Dr. Till's taking the opportunity in Houston. So, no capital expenditures because I only want people.
Yes.
That is our real capital. The people that I can put in bunker gear and ride the seats and go to your emergencies.
Okay, nicely done.
Any questions? All right, police.
Figure out how to fund that third person.
I am.
Police, you're up.
All right. No change on computer dues, memberships, or emergency management. All those are staying the same. Employee uniforms, we did go over budget a little bit. I am asking for an increase here. 2 reasons. One, we have added more police officers since the original budget was adopted because of the school resource positions that were added. 2, our uniform provider also is the provider for our ballistic vests. And so they wind up coming on the same invoice. So actually protective equipment has been hitting in that uniform budget line item as well. So I'm just combining those 2. You'll see protective equipment is eliminated in this for budget.
I was not looking for it.
So I'm removing the
It's not
3,000 there, adding it into this. So I'm just asking for 12,000 in uniforms. It's also exceptionally high because every time we hire a new police officer, it's most expensive up front to outfit them with all their uniforms, equipment, duty belt, boots, all that stuff.
So this includes the police officers for the school district.
Yes, ma'am.
Is a portion of what they pay us
For uniforms, yes.
put in here? Yes. Okay, yes.
When we get to revenues, I will share with you the breakdown because that was one of the things we didn't previously have this with the school district. It was just kind of an arbitrary number. I wanted to make sure I provided the school district with factual numbers.
Of what
So
he's
we
spending
take-
the money on.
Yeah, so we take, everything that it costs to employ that officer, we break all of that down. So they have actual numbers. We're not inflating the numbers. The city's compensated fairly. It's
Uniforms,
equal
ammunition,
across the
all
board.
of
I'm sure they're happy with that. It's not just some nebulous number in here.
Correct. And it was before. It was
Yeah.
just an arbitrary number. Right. And so, and actually a part of it, previously the school district was really only paying for salaries, whereas the city was having to fork over all the other costs. That included some retirement benefits, vehicle, fuel, all the equipment that goes into it. So it just gets very pricey.
Okay,
But
thank you, Steve. Okay.
All right. Any other questions on uniforms?
No.
Okay, lease payment, that's being removed. That shouldn't have hit this budget anyway, so you can ignore that. It's gonna be a count code adjustment. $1,000 more on ammunition, for firearms qualification, again, just because we have more officers on the force now.
2,000?
I'm sorry, 2,000.
It's going up 2,000.
Yes, 2,000 more, sorry, my apologies.
And because ammunition is more expensive, I'm sorry.
No, we've got more police officers, so I have to spend more on their ammunition for qualifications. Typically for qualifications, they shoot 50 rounds each, and then we supply them with training ammunition, hand duty ammunition. Let's see, janitorial supplies is going up just slightly. We have more people in the building now. Minor equipment, is going higher. You see this current year, we're at 14,000 already. Again, added new officers, had to upfit and outfit their, uniforms and equipment, which includes like the JPX devices that they carry, the less lethal devices, also the boxes in their cars, tablets, all that kind of stuff that gets included in that. It's already been outfitted, so I'm not expecting to spend 14,000 again. This would be just for some additional items here. And then I'm gonna talk about what I wanna do with it. That will be within this budget too here in just a minute.
We haven't been feeding our prisoners?
No,
You
no.
don't want to.
So if you recall, Mansfield, the city of Mansfield Jail is operating out of our facility and has been for the last 18 months. At no expense to us. So no, we have not had to feed our prisoners. There's been no charge to us
They're still
whatsoever.
here?
They're still here until September.
Okay.
So starting next budget year, that's why it's being put back in.
Money from Bologna.
And that's why it's increased, is, we are going to be going back to the way we used to do it before, with jail operations and staff, so we are requesting $4,000. Our jail will be housing both Everman and Forest Hill, since we provide dispatching services, and I believe potentially Blue Mountain too, right?
Potentially.
So we've been looking at those numbers, monitoring and changing our policies on how we're gonna operate that, but that will come at a small cost, going back to feeding our prisoners and equipment there.
Yeah, Forest Hill. Do we have Forest Hill prisoners? Is that what you said?
Yes, ma'am, we do. Forest Hill, so right
I think
now,
I knew that.
as of today, arrestees from Burleson, Kennedale, Mansfield, Everman, and Forest Hill all come in. We house them here.
Wow.
Now, when Mansfield leaves, it will just be us and Forest Hill.
Taking the
So
other.
why are they taking the others?
That's who their contract's with, they're staying with them, yeah.
Okay, now it makes sense.
Yeah, Burleson and Kennedale had already been contracting with Mansfield, they've used Mansfield jail for many years, yes. If you get arrested on the Tarrant County side of Burleson, you will go to the Mansfield jail.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not that you would get arrested, I'm just saying.
The Johnson County side goes.
I've been trying to stay in Gidget, okay?
No,
I know
Burleson
where
does
I'm
not have a jail.
So if your house is on the Tarrant County or Johnson line in Burleson, jump over to Johnson, you'd be closer.
I'd be mad at the Blue Mountain people have to come out here to get somebody out of jail.
This is
So, we're budgeting 2,000 for prisoner food, 2,000 for prisoner processing equipment and items. Protective equipment is being zeroed out, public event is zeroed out, I get,
2,000, is that really enough? I know we talked about this, but is
Yes.
it really enough for food?
I think so.
Is they're not there just for.
Yeah, most of our prisoners are there for less than 24 hours, so I think that's
I
yeah,
was gonna say Walmart bologna is real cheap.
No change in travel, schools, or training expense. This primarily due, a lot of the training we get is really free. We do have a couple of conferences that I send some folks to. And then the occasional paid classes, but we also get training funds from TCOL as a part of the Leo's funds for training.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
back up, please, to, okay, public event, what is that for the police?
That would be for like National Night Out. The items, the item is here because we will have things that hit that budget, but that doesn't mean I get donations and stuff to offset that. So I don't need any additional
You didn't want to
funds.
put money.
Okay, I thought National Night Out was under the fire department.
Well, yes,
Dang.
she's keeping.
National Night Out is
It's
about
all-
police bridging gaps with the community.
Yes,
That's what National
I
Night Out
wrote National Night Out on something.
You did.
Fire
It's
department,
actually
public works, and everybody else
for
participates.
Oh, that's what it is.
Because you enjoyed our demonstration.
You-
So much that
You'll
doesn't
see.
seem on
I'm
it.
National
just
Night Out is
thinking
about
fire.
fire
Yes,
department.
you'll see it, police, fire, public works, dispatch, and court.
May.
They all have it into their budgets. 'Cause They all
That makes
have,
me feel better.
Yeah.
You're not trying to slide something in
No,
there.
ma'am.
Okay.
they all have their booths and their own things, so they have, it's like that.
It's all about bridging gaps and the community coming together,
Okay,
stand
she was
together.
being
against
upset.
crime. Not fires,
And
crime.
then free stuff.
She's like, I heard that
Free
before.
stuff.
Okay, thank
Yes, ma'am.
Oops.
All right. Salaries and adjustments, not adding any positions or anticipating any major changes there, so nothing big there.
Building maintenance is double.
Yes, we need to replace at least one air conditioning unit that's over there. It's on the fritz, so.
We just replaced one on this budget and then one for next budget.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to replace.
I keep
some of
forgetting
these.
that building's 20 years old. It's just.
If you can't, yeah, it's more than that.
Yeah.
98, 99?
No, it was in the 2000s.
I don't think so. I think Flex is 98 or 99.
It's not 98, that's when I joined, and it wasn't built then.
I'll go back and look.
Okay. Wasn't built then.
What is that?
Just remember the old.
So yes, we are requesting an increase there. There's also 2 offices I'd like to pay in there. I'm gonna show you why here in just a minute.
2 offices in there you'd like to paint?
Paint.
Okay.
Yeah, one of them was an office belonging to a detective. Had a whole bunch of stuff nailed up on the walls. I need to repaint that office.
Oh, okay.
That's being used as a small conference room right now because we don't have any space over there. And then the other one, I'll go ahead and show you. The other one I want to convert into an employee wellness room. What an employee, it's both. We're asking to serve this room as both an employee wellness room and a soft interview room. Currently, when we have victims of any kind of heinous crime, sexual assault, something along those lines, they come up to the PD. The only space we have to put them in to sit them down with a detective is an interrogation room. That is a very sterile, they're almost being re-victimized
Yes.
because they're put into a very ugly room. So we'd like a soft interview space. Also a space because the job of a dispatcher, the police officer can be very stressful at
Yes.
times. We want to give them a space that they can escape for 10 or 15 minutes, sit down, relax. If they need to consult with the chaplain for any reason, they can do that in privacy in this room. So we would put a couple of recliners, some nice painted walls in there. This is not a napping room.
Yeah.
This isn't your escape to go sleep on duty. This is just an opportunity for employees. Why are you laughing so hard? Because you were thinking about how you could come over to PD and figure it out. But it's not what it is. And certainly if we had some kind of extensive, winter storm or something, it could be used for that space, but that's not what it's designed for.
So this is just an idea?
An employee wellness room.
No, that is.
Yes, that's just an idea. Yeah, that's kind of the concept,
Okay.
showing you what we're looking
Putting
at.
soft lighting, no glaring.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
At least it's not the restaurant. That's massage chair.
Yeah.
That couch, that
I mean,
Is
really,
that a massage chair?
That looks like a massage chair.
they're not being rested with somebody gonna come in and take
couch is well used over there with some of those people.
Capital expenditures, so if you recall, capital expenditures is going up by 41,208. That is due to the Motorola radio equipment. Remember, we entered into an agreement with Motorola to buy all new radios for police and fire. Our first payment will come due October 1st. Granted, there's radios in police and fire, but the majority of those radios are police. Might as well just hit the police budget with it rather than trying to divvy up the payments on how many radios are. So the whole payment is listed under the police budget, 41,208 for this year. And then the police duty cameras is going up just a little bit because we did add some more cameras because we have some additional police officers from SROs to 41,000.
Those are those chest cameras?
Yes, ma'am. Chest and in car. This covers it. This covers all of the cameras. Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions there?
Nice
All
job.
right.
Nice job.
Uh-oh.
I think it's easier this year because we actually have a full year of everything.
Yes.
First line of communications in A is increased tremendously just because of our licensing with Fort Worth and our radios. It's increased quite a bit. Dispatch is primarily radio and internet and computers, so others with that one, and I have no. Computer program itself has also increased a little bit with NetGenius as a third-party contractor that we use for the fire side and some of the PD usage possibly this year, just depending on what new programs we get. There's all kinds of apps and software things. I'm not IT, so please forgive me for the lack of jargon there. So that's a little bit of an increase. Dues and membership, asking for an increase there just for, training. APCO, NIA, those are super important with dispatch and how, state standards. I've let my license, lapse, and getting my supervisors involved will be really important, fire, APCO, training.
Notaries.
Huh?
Your notaries come out of it.
And notaries as well.
I want to be
So
clear,
not
she
gonna
did
do it.
not let her dispatch license
Right.
lapse.
I'm like,
She let her APCO membership lapse.
I was sorry, I misspoke.
Thank you.
Yes,
yes,
so-
Back up.
It's a statewide, so there's always conferences and trainings and this, and it's pretty good for just one person, so, you know, it does end up eventually, over time. Employee uniforms, I'm asking for an increase there because we didn't have one last year. Because we are bigger and we have a lot of visitors because of what we do with the
Right,
role model.
yeah.
Polos and job shirts and hoodies and t-shirts, that's a big thing for the.
She has modeled the sample for you.
Oh, see.
Nice.
But it does, and we have a lot of events, and I want to be more involved with the community eventually anyhow, because no one talks about dispatch. I want us to look nice when we can.
Yes.
It would be nice. Let's see what's next. What am I missing? I think I need lines on here next year.
Sorry.
I took my thingy and folded it in half. I
just
have
wanna
my
be
shirt,
like-
but rulers.
The equipment lease
Oh, there we go.
payment, that hits her budget.
That's the
It's
copier.
just the copier. It's the shared copier, but it just hits this budget.
My, equipment is not too much of an increase there, everything's pretty much staying the same. The notification system's increased a little bit, so that's our CTY, and what was the other one, I forget.
That's
That's
CTY.
just
Yeah,
CTY.
solely CTY.
Our office supplies,
We just meant, is
I'm
this the only budget that CTY gets?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, excuse me.
oh, you're fine, I'm just worried, I apologize. Office supplies.
You're doing great. Keep going.
Oh, thank you. A decrease there, we don't use a lot of office supplies per se, it's just, it's computer.
She steals it from the police budget.
I was told her.
And City Hall.
And I
City Hall.
I was the one I was told. Travel training and whatnot, asking for an increase, no,
Staying the same.
the staying the same, sorry, my paper. We've added public education, similar to parks and public works for the events.
And it's not just our national night out, it includes other city events too. So
Mhm.
dispatch is often asked to go to open houses in other cities and participate in their community events, since we serve those cities, so. Hers is-
That's great, you need to do that, yeah.
Oh, she does do it.
Just for the record, on everybody else's, it was, public events. On hers, it's, public education, as she is, educating other different.
So yes, we have several cities for that, and also the schools are very much trying to get involved, and we want to do that back as well. Jumping down to.
Get fast employees.
Yeah. Which one's is it the equipment one?
We took away the part-time budget.
Hang on real quick. So I do want to highlight, because it's worth highlighting, if you look at the salaries overtime,
Oh,
yes,
yes.
she has an extensive amount of overtime here. But keep in mind, she spent 101,000 last year. Her budget was only, 72,000? That is primarily due to, because since we've started TCRC, she's always kind of been understaffed. It should offset. She's actually doing very well in salaries combined on where we're at. So there's not extensive amounts of overtime. It's just due to her being shorthanded. We have salary savings in that line item. So that's why it's not increasing dramatically. No, that's okay. It's just.
We
worth
are
pointing
looking
out.
better on the staffing side in case.
Yes. And we don't, she doesn't currently have any part-time employees, so we have only budgeted for full-time. Good for this year.
I can see that.
See, in our miscellaneous, that's staying the same.
Yeah.
The shirts that we got when we first started TCRC, that's where that came out of.
Equipment maintenance? I missed what you said.
Oh, that was for the miscellaneous
I missed it.
line, yes ma'am.
There we are.
Our professional services, staying about the same there, I don't anticipate hiring anymore. I'm gonna hostage the ones that I have. Let's see, was this charter radio right now? What was that one, sorry? This.
Yeah, it just, Yeah, the charter radio link that's staying the same. It's just our cost to have the Ethernet connection for the radios.
Wow, that's cheap, isn't it?
No, ma'am, it's an Ethernet link from here to Eagle Mountain.
It's the, kind of a guarantee that we get connection, whatever one goes down, unless that one goes on, then it's covered, but we got backups for that. Like Chief Walton mentioned, medical direction increased just a little bit, not much. Capital expenditures, that is requesting a larger increase because we're looking at carpeting dispatch. The tile that's in there now was, I think it's original tile, but it breaks down under the chairs, it's dusty, and so we're looking at carpeting that.
It'll also help with the sound. Sometimes the
Yes.
sound travels a little too much in there.
Sounds
And when you have 4 people, either on a phone or on a radio, you don't want that sound to travel.
Fast. And also with our phones, there's a possible replacement needed, but we just wanted to make sure we are having that covered, just because the phones are no longer, well, how do you say that, the model that we have now
Discontinued?
is gonna be discontinued and possible replacements.
It's
needed.
old.
It's just one of those things, but that's mainly what the request for that increase is for. And, yes.
So one thing to point out before you go to questions that is helpful, prior to regionalization, anticipating that their overall budget would have increased 7% in the last 2 years, this regionalization is actually saving the city $14,000 as compared to what it would have been if we didn't regionalize and would have kept operating the same.
Okay.
So
So
although
the
these
extra
numbers
seats
are
are
big,
taken
and you're
in.
seeing big increases and stuff, the revenues that she's collecting from partner memberships from other cities has actually saved the city $14,000.
Yeah, not only offsetting, but saving us.
Reduced what we had before.
Okay, question. What is medical direction?
Since we're a ProQA EMD, and that's a pre-arrival instruction that we give callers when they call in, and he gives the guidance as to what kind of response levels goes with that. So we make sure that what we're sending is what matches what he thinks needs to go. So rather than send one person for cardiac arrest,
Yeah.
essentially.
It's the same doctor.
Yes, it's the same doctor, so.
And it was Patel.
Yeah.
For
Yes.
now, I don't, is it going to remain the same with this change as well?
Yeah, Bertrand will take everything over.
Okay.
And he's gonna be kind of
When's he
doing.
supposed
Say his
to-
name again?
Bertrand.
Bertrand.
It's August.
Oh,
All right, we good?
We're good.
Let's put the doctor in front of that, I never remember.
Now to the big one.
Yeah.
The one who's got the biggest increase in the whole budget.
Yeah, over 100%.
Good luck, sir. Just kidding, just kidding.
Take a deep breath.
You got this.
I see 5 things that are under 100%.
Yeah, there's not many, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm
Try
trying
to chop
to
and
get
work.
those, yeah.
I think that's his dental and life insurance, that's staying the same.
Okay,
Remember, you're preaching to the choir.
okay, that's right.
You have several, on the board there, so they're back in here.
All right, well, we'll start with the first one, animal control supplies. We're definitely, increasing, or no, we're keeping that, the.
No, we're zeroing that account
Oh,
out.
we're doing that. I'm
That's what I'm
sorry.
looking for.
Yeah, because that is kind of misleading and it's kind of a catch-all. And so we've broken it out and we've created several new accounts. That's why you see 100%, 100%, 100%.
Okay,
Because we've created, kind of just keep better track of what we're spending money on and not have to drill down into every transaction to find out.
With receipts, you mean?
Yes.
And so for the bio waste, of course, that's coming out of that, we're in the animal control supplies, that was the, and that's the disposal of animals, because they do have dangerous drugs in them, so they have to be disposed of in a
Okay.
proper way.
Okay.
Computer program, looks like that, $1,000, I think that came out of the animal control supplies at the time, or is this,
No, that one existed before. That's just there, the office computer or something like that, if you have any programs.
we did take out for drug supplies. Every animal that's coming in, we make sure we vaccinate them for parvo,
Right.
distemper, bordetella. We're making sure they all get flea and tick treatment, every single one that comes in. And we're worming them, so every animal that comes in is getting that.
Okay.
Not every, okay, every animal that will take worm, I'm not sticking my hand in some dogs' mouths. Most everything is getting.
Gotcha.
all- Most everything. Employee uniforms,
Slight increase.
yeah, slight increase on that.
Yep.
So 100%, okay.
It's
It's only $1,000, but with the additional staff that's coming in and getting them some fresh uniforms this year, we wanted to set them up similar to how we do on the police side, where we give them an allowance each. And then that also leaves him a little extra cushion to do what he may need to fill some other gaps or a new hire. With their job, they're constantly in the field and running through dirt, mud, muck, wrestling animals.
Right.
And so they need a pretty healthy body.
Is that the logo they have on their shirts too?
Yes.
Okay, the new logo.
The new logo, new shirt. Janitorial supplies, let's take another animal control. No? Nope.
We added it in here for 4,000.
Yeah, it was hitting the animal control previously. You're correct, but you were saying.
And minor equipment, that's gonna be things like, traps, transfer cages, control poles, light sticks, things to keep the officers safe out in the field. And that's going up,
3,000.
3,000, and that's hopefully with our, increased staff.
Was that in the supplies before?
It was all kind of lumped into supplies. We were taking that and breaking that out.
Okay.
But we're not breaking it out dollar for dollar. There are increases compared to.
Yes. Everything's going up.
Yes.
Office supplies, that's, we need tons of office supplies.
It's gone up, and highlight this is good for you. It's gone up because previously there was never paperwork that was provided to adopters. There was no office supply cost because things weren't necessarily done properly. Ray's implemented proper processes. He's constantly going through and changing out, making sure that we have cards that follow the dogs, making sure that people that adopt, foster, or rescue these animals get complete copies of their vaccination history, everything associated with the system. So folders, all that stuff has increased. And that's because he's implemented good processes.
Documentation.
Yes.
I have one question before we go on.
Okay.
Do we have enough traps now?
Well, we have mostly dog traps. Our cat trapping program, ideally, it's gonna be, as we talked before, it's gonna be a TNR program.
Mhm.
And most people, when they call in and they wanna trap a cat, I'd recommend they go to Harbor Freight or Tractor Supply, cause it's like $30 for a trap. And we'll still come and empty the trap and then they have it forever, you know. Especially if it's a neighborhood problem, I always recommend, say, well, like 3 or 4 people are all want the cats, well, chip in, get one trap and share it. We'll
Yeah.
come and pick up the animal and the trap.
Yeah, and then bring the trap back. Or you take the animal out.
We take the animal out,
Okay.
we have a transfer cage, we take the animal out, they keep their trap, they can reset it
Okay.
right there, and then,
Right.
once they get the cats under control, because, as long as there's food, water, and shelter, there are gonna be more cats that will come in, so hopefully.
Normally, we've always finished the other day.
Oh,
Yeah.
Laugh a
They're
little.
pretty bad, yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Okay, trainings.
Okay, travel, yeah, that one, because we're gonna have a new person, so we do have to have 30 continuing education hours every 3 years. I'm gonna try to provide some of those classes here, or I'm gonna teach the classes and our people get to go for free, so we'll keep those. I'd really like to get our people to go to the conference this year so they can learn how to do things really well. Keep up with the national standards and standards.
So if you're able to teach the classes, do you allow animal control officers from other cities to come? And if so, do you charge them a fee?
Mhm.
Okay.
Medical experience.
Yeah, that's a new
Okay,
account.
that's a new one. All right. The idea behind this is we get with DCAP or Expenditure Network. We have that $20,000. We get with them, we say, okay, when we adopt out an animal, we want to be able to give them a voucher. So when they're paying their $80 to adopt out an animal, they take that voucher and they're able to get their rabies shot and their spay and neuter. And as part of that $80. That way we're making sure they get it done, and there's no reason not to get it done. If we go and take the animals, one, it takes staff to go up and take them up and get them fixed and bring them back. And then if the shelter fills up or over capacity, we wasted that money. So having a voucher system to where we can take when they adopt, they get this, say, okay, you paid your money. Now, all you have to do is set up an appointment with TCAP, and you're getting rabies, your spay and neuter, you're legal, everything's good to go. And so that's the idea behind the 20,000.
Are you doing that now?
Not only will it cover spay and neuter, but it also provides him a little bit of a budget to cover necessary vet costs that may occur. We have to be very conscientious. So this has been a contentious subject amongst some. And I think it's important to highlight that for municipal animal service, I'm not saying us, but just in general, any municipal animal services, that is a taxpayer function. It is not the taxpayer responsibility to provide for the health and well-being of privately owned animals. So I think there's some that believe that every animal that comes into the shelter, regardless of what their health condition is, the city should bear the front of that medical treatment, regardless of cost. Some needing surgeries, some needing constant long-term medications that result in thousands of dollars for one animal. That's not the purpose and function of the city. That's not what our job is.
Right.
So Ray's position has to weigh the cost to benefit here when he does this. And there are times, let's say we come across a privately owned animal. We use this as an example the other day. We come across a privately owned animal that he believes is owned by somebody that may try to recover their dog, and that dog needs emergency medical attention. We have funds to get that dog initially treated and taken care of, and we'll work everything else out on the back end. But if we come across a stray that is just so sick and there's nothing that we can do other than spend thousands of dollars on vet bills, we cannot elect to do that. That is not a taxpayer function.
Not right, it's responsible.
No, it's not. We can't look to our taxpayers to say you're going to pay for the other citizens' inability to maintain animals. I mean, it's just not what it is. So I think it's important to get that out there, that that's not our function. Now, rescue groups and those phenomenal organizations that he works with all the time, that's what they do. And he will continue to try to work with them to get those specific cases taken care of. But there are the instances where even rescues can't help, because not only are we overwhelmed, every organization throughout North Texas is overwhelmed. And so it's been a little bit of a battle. And I think it's important to say here, I think it's important to say on the record that the medical expenses, this is a huge leap for us. We've never done this. $20,000 is a big number to throw out there. We can make that whatever you want to make it, but I think it's important for us to offer. We've never, ever, ever offered spay and neutering. We've never offered what we offer today with the vaccinations that people are upset about. He has done so much at this shelter by getting us up to current speed. I think this will be another leap. There's no room to complain.
Absolutely.
Very criticized.
Yeah. And this number should cover the number, we took the number of animals that he's had over the past year, and so we think that we've budgeted generously enough to cover those animals that are adoptable that would need to be fixed.
We used to have a low-cost spay and neuter traveling clinic that would park on the north side of the pawn shop. And one Saturday every month or 2 months or something, they would come out, we'd advertise it. They were busy.
Yeah.
And then,
They came to the community center several times.
yes, yes.
Yeah. We
The
used to have
oldest,
the rabies
yes,
shots too.
Yes, oh, and a lot of times at the fire department, because I got my tags there several times.
We charged $5, I think, one time for the rabies shots and stuff. and-
Can you
Yeah,
arrange
for
for
the
them to
whole-
come out?
The whole city.
I'm sorry, ma'am?
Can you arrange for them to come out to the city?
I'm working on that, yes.
One of the problems, there's a lot of things that Ray wants to do and a lot of programs we want to do similar to that. We're going to talk about one big capital item here in a minute too that we want to do. But one of the struggles is he can't achieve that when it's him and one other ACO right now.
Yeah.
They are so overwhelmed with the work they're trying to do that we can't do the extras that would be so beneficial to the program overall. So that's why the staffing is another big part of this. Yes. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate
You're being too humble and you need to talk more about your good stuff.
Yeah. Tell us what you do. Building maintenance,
Building maintenance, okay.
just $2,000?
Well,
Well, so we are expending right now 10 grand. Isn't that what I approved or something like that? 10,000 for the kennels. What are we?
more than that.
How
It's
much?
gonna be 20.
That wasn't approved, sir.
He's really gonna be stressed tonight.
What are we spending money on?
Kennels.
So you know that back area, if you've been to the shelter where they kind of put tarps around it in the winter time?
We've been too afraid to go back there.
You need to go.
It's gonna be.
You
it's
really,
better. I would
you
love to
really
show you
need
what
to go.
we've done.
Okay.
It's a lot better. But in fact, we just cut out all the chain link, everything's done, we got it out, and now we're gonna enclose it, and instead of having 3 kennels that sit in the heat that cook dogs. It's too hot.
And they're not compliant with state standards.
Yeah,
either.
and we're not with state standards, so we're gonna build all those walls, and then we're gonna have 6 runs in there. And then we're gonna be able to use that for quarantine, and now we're legal, but it also gives me an overflow to go in. So it's gonna give us 15 cages instead of 9, which with the intake that we're doing right now, we can only keep 6, between 6 and 7 days, is our length of stay that we really need to keep each animal. We're gonna be able to increase it to 11 to 15 days with that. So it's gonna make the animals, it's gonna give them a better chance to survive and get them out. And get them out of there. So,
Okay.
So you're just waiting on approval of the money, so somebody can go.
oh, it better be approved, not cut out.
They've already been working on that. That is already part of 24.
That is an expenditure that's gonna hit this budget.
Oh, okay.
I've already
Yeah.
told,
So-
our corners are our backs against the wall. The corners are in the wall.
They are, I know that.
Backs are against the wall. We have, this is something we have to do. I mean, we just absolutely have to do it. It's necessary. We just don't have the kennel space. We need to pull the trigger.
So
I told him to go ahead and pull the
Never
trigger.
had.
Now granted, when I said go ahead and pull the trigger, I thought it was 10. Apparently it's 20, so I'll figure that out.
That's where I was coming from. Wait a minute, what's the discrepancy?
But we'll figure that out, yeah.
Okay, okay.
It's something we just
Whatever
have
you
to
need,
do.
do it.
We have to do.
Going forward, with the long-term goals of wanting the new shelter, we don't want to spend thousands upon thousands of
No,
dollars
no.
in this old, fallen apart building. So only what's absolutely necessary at this point do we want to invest in.
Yeah, and obviously we need this, because we're
Yes.
still using this facility.
Yes.
Okay. All right, fix it up.
Okay.
Professional services we're not using anymore.
No, because
We know what the medical direction is.
you have
Yeah.
the medical expense and
Woo!
Okay, here's the big one.
It's your fun
I
one.
got pictures too, so let me know when you're ready.
Here's the biggie.
Alright, so. We've cleaned up the shelter, it looks really great, I do want y'all to be out there.
Okay.
But it is not the best location for us to be able to get people to come and do adoption. No, when they drive down the driveway, I go all the time, they're like, are you sure the shelter's here?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's off the beaten path, yeah.
It is, and the neighbors on the driveway, I love, they're all awesome, I've got to meet them, and they're awesome, but when you drive down that path, it's like, are you sure this is a shelter? And then when they pull in, they're like, it's a little intimidating, so, the idea of this 56,000 is for a capital, we wanna get a mobile adoption trailer, so that way we can take a mobile, that way we can go out and we can have adoptions. Our adoption center can be put anywhere. So now we got good location and where we go, this will hold like 12 animals and we'll have 15 cages somewhere on stray hold. So we should be able to, we almost can empty the shelter, take that out, and I want to develop a volunteer group that will go out with this. So the staff will take this out, we'll get it all set up. We're gonna have like green,
Turf.
like the turf, yeah, we'll off the turf, and you'll have canopies, it'll be beautiful, it'll really represent us well. And people will be able to come up, and we can go put this out at Burleson PetSmart, it's already, I think we got it in there, and of course, whenever we do events, we pull that up to our events here too, our National Night Out for Police. I just learned.
I'll get it I want to help out.
Okay.
Celebrate America's all you, man. Don't take my national life out. So, well, and when we talk about trying to increase the library release rate, trying to combat the negative commentary that we're getting back,
Yeah.
people not liking us, we can't do that in the environment we're doing it in.
Right.
So the marketing has certainly increased, the image is out there, how do we get the dogs out there?
Yes.
And this is, I think, a great.
And right now, we're getting 35% of our dogs to rescue.
Right.
We're only doing 10% adoptions, and so that's where we're weak. And
Okay.
This would, I really believe this would really move us up.
Okay, what name are we gonna put on this?
Municipal animal services.
Okay, and that's gonna include the Forest Hills?
Forest Hill and Everman logos, yep.
Okay, are they going to
Help us fund it.
contribute some of the money for this?
As of with this budget, we have not asked them to, because we did already hit them up for a $75,000 increase and asked them to pay the contract for this fiscal year would be $150,000. That's them paying for 250. I'm sorry, paying for 2 full-time employees.
Oh, okay.
So if you look at the total budget of operating, it would be 374. They're paying for almost half of that already. So
Understood.
So
that's,
in
that's why,
essence, they are
yeah.
contributing to it because they are giving us revenue to cover, to offset all of the expenses.
But we haven't gone to them and said, hey, will you split this cost directly with us? And it's hard to do that when you're talking about a capital purchase, because if somebody was to come to me and say, hey, would you split the cost of this capital purchase? My question is gonna be,
Is it
sure,
both
how do
ways?
we split the ownership of this?
Yes.
Right.
And then if this
And
agreement,
it's
if this
ours.
agreement separates, is that trailer coming with me? Are we cutting it in half, or is it going with you?
Right.
And so that's why we haven't approached.
Divorce is very rough.
It's very costly.
And I don't anticipate that to happen, but we have to,
You have
think
to,
about that.
So you would have municipal animal services on it, and we're gonna let Forest Hill know what we're doing and ask their permission to put their logo on.
Yes.
So at least they'll be in on them. Okay, good.
I mean,
I love
it'd be part of the services that we offer.
And with this being air conditioned the way it's set up too.
Yeah.
We have the vet down the road, Dr.
Reeves,
Well, we have Dr. Reeves, but there's the other doctor on.
not Birch.
Dan,
Right down.
Daniels.
Yeah. She wants to do like $5 low-cost rabies shots. So if I can get her to go and meet us in a community, we can go out and do this. I mean, I'd like to start getting more microchips out. Part of the animals that we're getting back, Dakota's been doing an exceptional job. I think it was, we're at 27% of those animals, I said 35 went to rescue, but 27%, he's getting back home. He's figuring out who owned it. He's knocking on doors. And if we got a microchip, he's scanning in the field where, so that animal never even touches the shelter is our goal. And so the more microchips we can get out. So if we have something like this, we can go out with microchips, we can go out with, I'd love to do, okay, come get your rabies shot, and I'll give you a microchip for free. So
Yes.
now I know where I can track this animal home.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it's cool.
Okay, very clever. So this is in this budget for 25. When can we pick that up?
October 10th.
Is that when the money kicks in?
So every trailer this is through Jones Trailers, every trailer they build is a custom built trailer. So we can work with them like we have in the past with other customs, once we know that the budget is approved, and issue POs, as so long as the expenditure doesn't occur until after October 1st. So we can do what we can to try to get it as close to October 1st, but it would be October 1st before we have.
We're good? We're good. We won't cut this. I'm speaking for everybody. Whatever we cut, we're not.
You're safe. You're safe.
No, no, we have to do that.
You're not the fireman.
Our facility is in the Bulldogs. Nobody knows.
Got too many animals.
I'll tell you what, I'll set you up with a fire dog.
I don't want that. That's another distraction around the house.
I got
You're in the
They have
process
work to
of
do.
making a letter.
Okay. Wow.
We can have it over.
I'm bowled over. I love this.
That's cool. All right.
October 10th, by the way.
Are you missing legs?
Did that fall on you?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
This is, I'm like.
No, I was trying to be calm, cool about it. Thanks.
Oh, let's cheer.
When
That's what I was doing.
Is it air conditioned?
Yes,
I was
ma'am.
worried about that.
Yeah, so in the inside
Like it's
space.
flowing air, but it's air conditioned.
Yeah, it is air conditioned, and it's also set up to, when you go on the highway, there's vents that go up on the top, so to make sure
Yeah.
there's always airflow.
Oh, this is
There's
wild.
the, you know, it has a storage area for this, and this is also have a sink in there, has water, water.
Restroom.
Doesn't have a restroom, but the way the cages are set up, so they're angled down, and so when you wash them, it'll go down like a regular, travel tray, or, yeah, and then they have the hoses that you dump.
We're giving them smart motor shots and stuff. We're not teaching them how to pee on toilets.
I would never.
Then you gotta
Clean
clean
the
the
toilet.
Yeah.
Okay, no, we're not doing it.
But we're definitely not raising them to raise them, okay?
For backup support.
You're kidding.
Well, I thought about that, but if you keep it out there for extra animals, like if we got overflowed, I think you would have trouble, because you gotta run the generator running, because it does have its own generator. I think you would have a lot of problems.
Well, I don't know what the state would say about that, because the state has to inspect all the
Yeah,
all
and
the
their
kennels
cages are
too.
so small, this is like very temporary.
I tell you what, that's nicer than a lot of horse trailers.
Isn't that the truth?
Oh my God, some of those are very nice.
Yeah.
It's nice. Okay, you told us.
Alright,
I'm speaking for everybody.
I'm sorry. Your turn, Edna.
All right.
Okay, to start off, I'm requesting a wellness office too.
Oh, good one. We need one with a yes.
Sorry, Chair.
I don't see that on your budget.
Those are the legal, you have your own office.
Tireless.
Close the door and scream.
Requesting one of those.
Escape room.
Oh, yes, please. Or something with a punching bag.
Oh, stress relief. Just saying.
My budget doesn't have much of a change, just the duals and membership, it's increasing a little bit for $500.
She had none.
I had none, yeah.
Well,
No, $379, right?
No.
No, that's
we
what
had-
you
Oh,
spent,
that's what you
But
spent.
there was no
Yes,
budget.
There was no budget. So
Okay,
it's a new item.
before we keep going, let's back up to computer programs.
Sure.
So we budgeted 21 in 23, 8 in
No,
24.
we budget, no. We
That's the
spent
actual.
21 and
That's the thing,
we budgeted 8,000 and 24, she has spent 15,000.
yes.
Now, keep in mind, she has a court technology fund.
Mhm.
So if there are ticket writers or items that are ordered that are approved to be used from court technology fund, those would hit this budget.
Okay.
And then when we do budget amendments at the end of the year, we would transfer that from court technology back over to offset.
So technically, yes, we budgeted 8 and she has spent 15. But we do have a budget amendment in this case for things that she has purchased. So, next year, this will show up as, not that we budgeted 8, it'll show up as 22,000 or whatever.
Budgeted 22,000.
Yeah, because once we do a budget amendment, it changes the budget.
Okay,
Yeah.
my question is, so we spent 21,000 in 23, and we spent 15,000 in 24.
And you wanna
but
know
you're
why it's
only
less.
Budgeting,
Yes, I know where you're
We
going.
bought her new computers and stuff in 23.
Yeah.
I think we
There were
bought some
special
additional.
circumstances both in 23 and 24 that aren't regular software programs that we're using, like they were purchases that were one-time things.
so we're not looking for that kind of a one-time thing now?
Yes.
Okay, that's the
If
one
we
you get
do-
hit with,
Yeah.
8,000 we're not.
No, if we do, then it would come to the council first
As a budget.
as a request to approve
Okay,
core technology funds to be spent to purchase that item.
okay, all right, just want you covered.
Remember, this is,
No, that's
we're
a good question,
budgeting what's
though.
coming out of the general fund.
Right.
Core technology fund is a restricted fund.
Okay. And forgive me, one more question. Where does the money come from that goes into court technology?
Every fine that's paid has a certain percentage of that fine that goes into different restricted funds
Okay.
based on the state schedule.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
yes.
All right, keep going, young lady.
Okay, duals and membership, again, didn't have any that increased to 500. And, let's see.
And you didn't have any, but you're increasing it?
What'd you say?
I'm sorry, yeah, we spent 379.
So she's added that.
So,
Okay, gotcha. My brain's going with words, not numbers, okay.
let's see, the next one that increases the public event, again, that's for National Night Out.
So everybody's got a little piece of that, okay.
Yes.
Except for finance and HR.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Should we make one?
I
think we need to
We're gonna make our own booth.
Um,
Get some new shirts out of you.
And fire.
And I think that's it, just flyer. Minor deduction on the municipal court judge, so.
Are you not gonna get any miscellaneous?
No, we took that one off, right, miscellaneous?
You haven't spent
You
anything.
haven't spent anything. Okay.
Yeah.
So municipal court judge,
Yeah, we've just got some changes in compensation there, that's all.
Yeah, that's all.
yeah, why did we only spend 14,700?
It's, the year's not done.
It's
Yeah,
not
yours
done, so
not
that's how
Thank
much
you,
we've
yes.
spent, yeah.
I'm trying, okay.
Are you still all back, Lauren, or you get caught up?
No, I'm caught up, just trying to, I've sent out letters on citations from last year, so I'm getting a good response from that.
Good.
And, you know, but.
I know at one time it sounded like you were really.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really bad.
Yeah, no, but I've done sent out a lot of letters. These past few months haven't been too much as far as having a big court docket because the judge has been out. So I try not to overload the prosecutor with it because it's him and I. So, but it's, I mean, everything else, I mean, it's going good. Letters going out and people are responding to those letters.
So if
We're
the,
getting money.
I'm sorry,
No, go ahead.
if the prosecutor and you are handling it, why do we need a judge?
No, and he had surgery. He had
Oh, okay.
surgery, so he was.
So
out
we're
for
The
like-
prosecutor has the ability to dispose of some cases based on agreement.
Oh, okay,
If a defendant does not agree with the prosecutor, it still has to go
to
before
the judge, okay.
And even with the prosecutor makes an agreement and strikes a deal, the judge still eventually has to approve those. But he doesn't necessarily have to be physically present to do that. He can sign off on
Okay,
it. So, yeah,
He
still,
was just
still
out.
has to have
necessary.
okay.
We still need a judge.
I guess so. Trying to save a little money there.
I'm not gonna get away with that one, sorry.
Okay, trying.
But, one thing, we didn't talk about this during the budget. Did we talk about rate change for the judge?
Yes, we did.
We did?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
we did.
okay.
Yes.
So this includes that?
Yes.
Okay, all right, perfect. That's what I thought. Okay. No, don't worry about it. I just wanted to make sure we discussed it, so.
Okay,
Judge Lane has served us for 15 years or so like this, at the same rate. He has not asked us for a rate increase, but the prosecutor has. We've gotten to the point where the prosecutor is, the rates are a little offset. I'd like to give the judge an increase. And I think that's appropriate, and we can do that with this 20,000.
okay, so now I'm confused.
Mhm.
24 amended budget is 25, what do we?
We just had some outstanding, we were using multiple judges in 23. We're good. It's a timing issue. We'll be good with the 20.
Okay. I'm just looking at numbers.
Yeah.
All right, and they took your miscellaneous away.
I haven't used to use it, yeah.
Okay,
The other thing to keep in mind too is we are moving, remember, she's got 2 UB staff members that are going to be getting a significant increase to assist in court and help her out in this round too.
that's excellent. So are these employees we already have?
Yes.
or-
Yes,
Okay.
with 2 UP clerks.
Okay, good. They need training?
Yes.
They will be.
On the court
We
side,
got it.
they need training on courts.
Okay, all right, we got it tapped in.
Yes.
All right, that's good. That wasn't that hard. Oh, boy. Fairly easy. Should change that for chimes.
Okay, so we're on Civic Center.
Morning.
I'll probably be going out.
My equipment went to, oh. Is it trailing junkie?
No, they'll be blocking.
MD.
Motor vehicle.
Oh,
Okay, so on the Civic Center, we haven't spent anything this year on advertising, marketing, publications. I would like to keep that in there because, especially now that we have Eliza and we're looking to have her go full-time, I would like to get our Civic Center some exposure at like some weddings.
Bridal fairs.
Yeah, bridal fairs, that kind of stuff.
yes.
Also to pay for any
I'm
flyers.
sure all the things.
Yeah. That kind of stuff to get more usage out of our Civic Center. I did look, I think somebody asked about revenue for the Civic Center. So the fiscal year to date revenue so far for our Civic Center is budgeted at 50,000. We have already exceeded that. We're at about 55,000 with several more events to go before the end of the year. So
How do you get a farmer's market?
Oh, my Lord, do we need one of those?
Yes.
we could probably work with Timberview and see if we can set something up.
I
Oh,
think that would be
please,
so
yes.
cool.
In fact, weren't they going to?
Or more than just one vendor, like
Like,
other
I just
farmers.
started one this year.
But Timberview, in part of their presentation to us, they indicated they were going to start a
Yes, and they might be out there
Farmers market.
at their location, so I'll find out.
Yeah, that's what they said, they were.
Oh my gosh, I would much rather get locally grown fruits and vegetables
Right,
than the chemical laden things from.
but I don't think they anticipated, that they burned up by 120 degrees, but,
Well, they should, they're from this area.
boy,
Those people who own Timberview are from this area.
I mean,
They know that it's gonna be hot in July.
but yeah, it's hard to keep them going.
Janitorial supplies, so although we have not spent that much here, I think some of it may have been hitting some other budgets, so we're gonna go back and look at that one.
Okay.
Would like to,
Yeah, some of
Yeah.
the tiny things, some have a bit.
yeah, we'd like to keep it at $5,000. Some of it also may be due to our new agreement with Alpine, because we're not having to supply the cleaning items for Alpine Cleaning that's doing the Civic Center cleaning too. So, I mean, there may be some reduction in cost, but no need to change it. I think I'd rather keep it
Yeah.
where it's at right now.
I'm glad the floor's not sticky anymore.
Oh my gosh.
Minor equipment, bumping that up to 15,000. Couple of reasons. One was, I didn't make my notes. One was because we do need to replace some of the round tables that are over there. Those are some pretty expensive tables, but screws are starting to pop out of the bottom. There are several chairs that need to be replaced as well. We've noticed we've fallen below 300 functional chairs, and that's what we tell people we have. So we do need to get back up to that 300 number. So replacements of some tables and chairs. There was something else too. What was it that we were talking about for minor equipment? Tables, chairs. Oh, ice machine.
Yes,
the,
yes, yes.
The ice machine that's over there right now, and I don't know if you've heard it lately, but it's screaming. Literally, you can hear it with all the doors closed. I mean, it
Oh,
is
dear.
screaming.
Well, and it wasn't,
It wasn't new.
you weren't able to use it for, in your cup, you could only use it for ice chest, and it was
With
like not
filters.
good, yeah.
And that wasn't a new ice machine when we got the Civic Center. That ice machine was relocated from the fire station, and it was obtained before I got here.
Yeah, it's ancient.
So it's been here. It's been here a while. It is screaming. The guys have used as much bubble gum and duct tape as they can, and it's not going to hold together
Clothes
anymore.
hangers, there's a problem.
It's about $5,000 to replace. So we need to replace that. About $5,000 to replace.
Well, if it goes above that, then we'll move it to capital, but we'll leave it right now in minor, but.
I like that. 5,000. Huh?
My ears perked up.
I love that. Okay, yeah, but and we need to have a nice machine over there that we can scoop ice out in.
Sure.
just to
We
drink.
have it in your cup, yeah.
Yeah, good.
I agree. Building maintenance, we're going to reduce that back down to 5,000. We put it to 10 to 12,000 this year to cover some painting and some extras that we wanted to do this year. No need to paint this next year, so we'll put that back down to 5,000. And then janitorial services, we're leaving that at 10. If you look and you see building maintenance and janitorial services are offset, it's because we've got to do some account code corrections. Actually, a good chunk of janitorial has
All
Oh,
but
actually
$1,000.
has hit building maintenance, so we've got to move those numbers aren't accurate.
Okay.
The year-to-date numbers are not accurate. So
Have
We'll
we
fix
had
that.
any more damage over there since
we do get the occasional.
we've had a couple of big ones?
Yeah, we have, at which point we've withheld their deposit and have kept that money. So, I mean, they don't get their deposit back.
Has
if
it
they
been
don't.
enough to recover what?
Yes, I mean, we've exceeded our revenue budget by far, so we're in good shape. We're in
So
good shape.
you said, as of now, we've made $55,000 usage fees.
In Civic Center fees, correct.
Okay, good. And then we still have the rest of the fiscal year.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
And this is the very busy time of the year. I will tell you, Gilbert and I have been texting a lot during this meeting because we are having AC issues over there. We had the same thing last summer. We are struggling in that building to keep it cool
And there's a way.
in the heat of the summer. One of the ACs apparently just fried. We may have to come back and look at this. I don't think those ACs are big enough.
That's
So
what I was
we're gonna
Residential and stuff.
We're gonna converse offline after this and see but we may have to come back and amend this a little bit. I think it's important that we have air conditioning units that are sufficient for that building.
Amend the 25 budget?
Yes.
Well, not officially amend.
No. No. I'm saying, don't we need to replace them now?
Well, I mean, that's just depending on what the costs are. We'll have to go back and look.
Yeah.
Are they still not under warranty or anything from when they got them? 1 year warranty, we passed it.
Yeah, we're past,
Convenient, huh?
yeah, we're past the 1 year.
We've been open 2 years as of last month.
Yes.
Of course.
It can be longer than a year.
I know.
So we talking to Gilbert, we definitely need to upsize that. It's just, it's a problem when you have people that book it for a wedding today. I mean, there's somebody over there with a wedding today. And we do take care of it. When this happens, we do take care of the customers. I mean, I've already told them, hey, if we need to refund them, let's refund, let's take care of them.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, that happened to me on my wedding. When we got married, the AC went out in our venue. So that's just, it's not fair. So-
What do those people do? I mean, they're set to have a thing there and the AC goes out. Oh.
Renting.
Oh, let me be clear, it's not that the AC is completely out, it's not 100 degrees in there, but it's an uncomfortable
But it's not
78
cool.
or 80
Yes,
degrees,
yes.
it's not comfortable.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not to a dangerous level, but
Yeah.
we'll still take care of the customers every time.
Absolutely.
When it's our fault, Anna does a very good job of owning up
Is
to
it a
it.
separate unit for the office area versus the?
Yeah, there's 5 different units over there, so there's 3 for the ballroom,
Because the
1,
ballroom is the one that needs at least the
Yeah.
commercial grade.
3 for the ballroom, and then there's 1 for the
Big
lobby and
space.
bathrooms, and then 1 for the office space, so there's 5 different units.
The kitchen goes with the ballroom.
Yes, the
Kitchen
kitchen,
goes with the bathroom.
no, bathrooms, yeah.
Bathroom and the front.
The lobby.
Oh,
So
Okay.
just put that on the radar. Any questions on Civic Center?
Now we're good.
Okay. Moving, oh, he would leave. That's
That's
why he left. We got the fleet.
That's right, he did.
Okay,
We'll just sit here and bang for
Eat a cookie while you wait.
so on fleet, lease payments have gone up. We've added more patrol vehicles because of school resource officers. So that's a big chunk of what this is. We are working on trying to make some adjustments to bring that lease payments down. We are recouping some of that cost back from the school district. They do pay for the monthly lease payments on there, to try to recoup some of that back, but that is getting to be a little higher than where I would like it. So we're trying to work with Enterprise to identify ways of how can we reduce that back down. Because also with the addition of a full-time ACO position, we really need to get Ray in a vehicle of some kind of supervisory vehicle, not necessarily a fully outfitted animal control truck, but something that he can drive that's gonna cost us, $400, $500, $600 a month.
Yeah.
On the lease. So we need to get him in something too that he's got to be able to go around and do what he needs to do in addition to the ACO's patrolling and answering calls. Maintenance supplies is staying the same. That's for I'm kind of shocked we haven't used more of this, but that's typically to keep things like wipers on hand.
Oh, that's because they have vehicle maintenance.
Yes.
Washer fluid, those kinds of things. If we go to the store and buy any of that and keep it on hand here, that's what we would use that for. You don't have to worry about lease interest. You can ignore that. Building maintenance, this is the Public Works building next to us. This is where that building hits this budget, fleet budget, the shop over here. Hopefully we don't have to spend anything on it.
Is anybody working in that?
No.
Good.
It's literally just a garage. Yeah, garage and storage.
One of these days we need to do something.
Yes, ma'am. Vehicle maintenance is going, do you want to explain, you were explaining vehicle maintenance to me earlier.
Oh, go ahead. Say that again.
I'm sorry, vehicle maintenance.
This one down.
I know we're bumping that up to
Okay.
70,000.
Yes, so part of the lease payment every month, each vehicle is part of a vehicle maintenance program through Enterprise. And so each vehicle is charged a certain amount per month. That's added on. So on the bill, it says lease payment and then maintenance program. So there's 2 amounts. So part of that is here in vehicle maintenance. But in addition to those vehicles that are part of the Enterprise program, we have other vehicles that are still city-owned vehicles that we have other maintenance things that we do on the trailers and whatever.
Gas, oil, and lube, gas is going up a little bit. So we're just putting a $5,000 increase on that. Vehicle repair, we added, did you already explain adding this
No, I
line item?
haven't,
Okay.
I haven't.
So we're adding this line item and putting 10,000 in here because part of what you've seen that hits vehicle maintenance is if a vehicle's involved in a collision for whatever reason or has an accident, we have to get that repaired, that hits the vehicle maintenance item. But we usually have a good chunk of that gets reimbursed through TML insurance proceeds and offsets it. So Susan wants to break that out so we
Because
can track.
it's technically, it's not maintenance, it's repair of the vehicle. And so I'd like to keep that separate.
Okay.
And then, you know, when it comes time for budget amendments, the majority of this account of this vehicle repair will be offset by the gain or sale, and the insurance proceeds.
Okay.
So that'll offset that. However, put in 10,000 for a base budget, just for the things that, you know, go wrong with the vehicle that aren't necessarily from an accident or, you know, maybe it's just a little, they hit a pole, a small thing that we're not gonna file on the insurance that we still need to replace, but so just a small base budget.
And then no capital expenditures at a fleet issue.
Nope.
Any questions on fleet? All right, so that takes us to the end, but real quick,
He's not really letting you leave.
I just, well, we'll do it after revenues. I just wanted to kind of get an idea. Think about between now and revenues. I would like to really know where your priorities are so that we can try to do as much work before we come back to make some final
You
decisions.
can brainstorm for just a second. You can throw out a few ideas.
Yeah, I'm really worried with some of these increases that we're gonna have to make some cuts. And it would be helpful for us to know where your priorities lie, based on these departments here, on what you would like to see us prioritize.
Payroll,
What are the big
parks, and
things?
ACO.
I'm sorry?
Payroll, parks, and ACO. And anybody else, what?
Payroll, parks, ACO, in that order?
Mine's ACO first.
ACO, employment, parks, maybe parks second.
Yeah.
Because we've pretty much taken care of employment, but we still want to keep them in mind.
I don't think so. I just want to point out, we are making some big payroll changes by adding 2 firefighters, by converting 3 employees from part-time to full-time, and by providing a 3% COLA plus the step increases.
So you don't think so, what?
Well, when you said we've pretty much got payroll taken care of,
No, meaning not to have that as,
A definite answer.
or having so much, to add more to it, I think.
okay,
Yeah, I think we've developed that,
okay. And
Not-
we want to put parks above,
parks and ACO and parks.
Sure.
Yeah, she said ACO 1, parks 2, payroll 3.
And then we said payroll, but we've really kind of worked that well, I think.
Meaning they wanna leave it where it is.
Meaning all of our suggestions. Yeah. Am I not making it, am I not
I
saying
understand,
what?
no, I understand what you're saying, but
no, but what you're
Try to
telling
get
me is, so
that
if payroll is
3%.
at the bottom, that means that's the first thing that's going to be cut. If you're putting ACO at the top of the list as a priority, parks at the second top of the list
Oh,
as a
I see
priority,
what you're
and
saying.
you're putting 3 as payroll,
He's
that
asking
means
what
if
can
I
be,
have a budget
That's why you're looking
shortfall,
at me like
yeah,
that.
he's
That
saying,
means-
what do you want to be cut first?
that means if I
not
have,
payroll,
that
not
means if I have a budget shortfall,
Yeah.
then the first thing that's gonna be cut is likely going to be the 2 full-time firefighters that we just added.
Oh,
I
Follow-
wait.
don't think that needs
Well,
to be
you
cut.
also have positions that are going full-time that are part.
Yeah,
Okay,
plus some
but you
full-time,
have a
that's what I'm saying, that's the area that you're telling me you would like to see.
But I interpreted what you said differently.
Okay.
Keep payroll.
And that's fine, but when we do the increase of 3 and 3.5%, we're increasing that all of it, not keeping in mind that we are hiring and adding full, part-time to full-time.
Right.
So do we want to continue with 3 and 3.5 or do?
A full-time
a
firefighter is
different-
$100,000. Just, I mean,
Or do a
roughly,
different.
I'm just throwing that out there. So when you talk about hiring, when you talk about adding 2 full-time firefighters, you're adding $200,000 to the budget.
Okay.
The fire department
But
is
you're
really,
hiring
it's
more
critical.
people and you're.
I have
hiring
heard
full-time.
teetotally. People drive by the fire department and say, oh, how wonderful, it's a beautiful building, it's got great machines, I love those machines.
But they still get.
We need those people.
So
We need those people.
I have always said, the
1.5.
building can be beautiful, the trucks can be beautiful, but it doesn't matter if there's nobody to be on the trucks.
It's not gonna matter if nobody to drive the truck. No, I totally get it. We have to have it.
So,
We take care of the county out.
Depending on what happens with the ESD, we might have some alternatives that we can work with that to try to get something funded, so we'll work on that. I just wanted to know I guess primarily when it comes down to what the parks that we talked about and the other projects, where are you guys wanting us to see prioritized? Parks or payroll, converting these employees to full-time, firefighter staffing? those
Okay,
things?
I'm gonna say this, and y'all correct me if you want to.
Just what he said.
Payroll, ACO, parks. We have to do something with parks, but we have to pay our people. And we have to have people to pay.
My idea of the parks was not quite that much right now.
Right.
Just right now, just to
Develop
get it to look a little bit nicer.
Okay.
You know, like I said, I would have taken away with the basketball goals. I would turn that into a pickleball court. I would get rid of some of that equipment, the playground
That'll look the
equipment
same, from the outside, that looks the same though.
that's, you know, doing nothing, because there's no swings, nothing in there. I'd take those out. And maybe put in a couple of nice benches, you know, for the pickleball court out there. And then if we have to wait till the following year to put in a nice equipment for the kids, maybe we could do that, something like that.
Find some grants to do that soon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about a major overhaul right
Yeah.
now, just
Yeah.
something that's gonna look nice.
Employment and ACO are the two biggies, I believe.
Yeah, and then next year we'll do the same thing, they're still gonna continue being the biggies.
Exactly.
There's always
So-
something,
Exactly.
yeah.
So when are we going to prioritize something else?
Well,
Depends on what he
next
does
year.
with it.
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
Hold on, wait. This is your budget. We're just bringing recommendations. I will prioritize whatever it is you want. I just need to know so I can bring.
Bring back suggestions of what might have to go.
I mean, I will always give you my opinion of what I think. That doesn't mean you have to agree with me by any means. You're my boss. You tell me what you want.
So,
I just,
but, okay, so they were interested in the 3%. Okay, what about the three positions that are being switched from part-time to
Or
full-time?
if they want to
Is that a
increase the
concern?
bonus for the people that are capped,
Dollars,
then we go down on the set.
that,
We can't.
one of them, what she said,
Yeah.
one of them,
Yeah,
absolutely.
can't split that up.
Yeah.
Because she's
We
already.
got you.
out.
That's that.
The other two,
But the other thing is, they're gonna get their COLA. They just won't get that step, and they know they're capped out.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked for IBM for 13 years, okay. 4, maybe 5 of those years, I got a 1% pay rate, 1%. It's like, I didn't even think of it, because the taxes went up. In fact, I owed them more money. Thank you for that
I worked for
1%.
Alpine 26 years, and we never had the cap out thing.
No, no.
We never had to.
So
well,
anyway.
and keeping in mind that I think for our financial health, our top priority really needs to be building up the
Reserves.
general fund reserve too.
No, absolutely.
So,
The
because we
reserves
can't
gotta be-
afford to incur debt to make improvements that need to be made if we don't build our general fund.
And how do you suggest we do that?
Not spend all the money.
Control spending, I mean, that's the only way to do that. Control spending, increase revenues.
Yeah.
Economic development, increase sales tax. I mean, do what we're doing, but I think we have to hold just a little bit longer. Now, keep in mind, this year is very weird with how Hannah Ranch development has split up the way it has with sales tax, or with property tax revenues. I'm curious to see what that does unintentionally to the property tax rate. We'll see that when truth in taxation comes out. So it's just it's important to know what you want to prioritize, because I just don't know. There's been a lot thrown out, and I just don't know that we can achieve all of it.
The new businesses that are coming in, down on Forest Hill, down on Race, Shelby. Is that gonna be a big impact?
I highly doubt it this fiscal year, because if they're not constructed by January 1st, it's not going to matter.
yeah, but aside from property tax, are you referring to sales tax? Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So
for sure
whenever
there'll be an
they
impact.
open up, then we'll start to see and.
Yeah, one of our top sales tax contributors for the city is actually the liquor store off of Everman Parkway. Remember, we're adding a second liquor store off of Forest Hill Drive. That'll be a big sales tax provider for us. Those businesses typically drive $20,000 to $30,000 a year in sales tax revenue.
Yeah.
So that's a good chunk. We need those smaller businesses to come in here like that.
So when are they gonna start with the Race Street thing? When are they gonna get
Now,
that?
we've been discussing that. There's been some back and forth between Encore and them, so they're trying to get that ironed out, but it's supposed to be coming pretty quick. It won't be before January 1st as far as property taxes, but
Forest Hill Drive is not scheduled for another couple of years.
roadway,
Right,
correct,
right.
yes.
Right, the roadway.
Yes, yeah, I thought you were talking about, I want to make sure we weren't talking about the
Yeah.
project.
not just the road.
Yeah, because that project's done. They should be, I mean, they're getting ready to have a ribbon cutting here in the near future as far as the liquor store, the restaurant, and the,
Oh, yeah, do they have
Retail space.
potential clients to move in?
Yes,
Whatever
yes.
I'm saying,
yes,
Okay.
Lacey's, yep.
that's it, big word.
Okay,
Okay, yay.
so top priority is payroll. Are we still on that? Is that,
Mine's ACL.
all right, I think I have an idea where we're at. So that kind of gives us some guidance. If we do have to make cuts, maybe we can prepare some proper recommendations you'll like. I just want to be prepared with what,
Split them between the two if we have to make cuts.
yeah, I just want to be prepared to know
Okay, but
what.
we need that trailer.
Yes, we do.
No, I did that, if you don't want to cut the trailer, we won't cut the trailer.
Don't cut the trailer.
We'll leave that in.
That is, we'll cut us in your face.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
Get rid of that boy.
Just to say.
Oh, the one that's leaving anyway, we'll cut his pay.
Funny. Okay, are we comfortable that we?
Last question, did we cover everything that everybody wanted? Is there anything out of all this that we missed that any council wants us to look at and address?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, if we're not gonna do anything with the equipment up there at Johnson Park, at least put swings on the thing.
Oh, that's in the works, right?
Instead of a pole.
And that
You know.
goofy A-frame with no swing?
It's just
Yeah.
a frame.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, and this part.
Hang plants on that.
Okay, please. Okay, because, let's just be real. McDonald's is coming in. It's gonna be a big draw.
It
That
is.
park has got to look better than it does. And Mr. Helton has got to keep his property mowed. I mean, we don't want that area to look ratty because we want more businesses to come in to follow McDonald's.
Okay.
And they're not gonna do it if it looks ratty over
And
there.
Fort Worth on the Family Dollar sign.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
I mean, if everybody's in agreement to change that to a pickleball court, I don't think that's gonna be very expensive to.
Well, I know of one council member that will absolutely support what you're doing. So
She's not
you know,
gonna even believe we're talking.
you know of one that's gonna absolutely love that idea. So I think you've got her support. I don't know about the rest of council.
Okay, then, yeah.
I think the expense for us would be to go back and look at cost for resurfacing that into the pickleball court pattern. And we'll look at that, see what that is.
How to arrange for everybody to use it.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, so how do we avoid the issues that we have with basketball goal being there and now making it pickleball? I mean, like, what difference was by having basketball and having the pickleball? Well, I mean, the
The
same problems we're
difference
gonna
to
have.
me would be with the basketball, the problem we were having with the older people that were coming over and taking advantage of it so much that, you know, a lot of the kids weren't even using it, and not to mention with the fighting we had up there, which I know we've had a situation here too. But I just thought, you know, we're not using it, right? We could at least use the area for something. And I
think
thought
it's
with
so
pickleball,
hard
everybody's
to
trying to
have
get into
fights.
pickleball, you know?
Right,
What we can do is do it in steps, this year we can do this
Yeah, we'll come up with plans.
with a
Yeah,
plan and then we can get
Yeah.
there and make the park nice.
I see where you're coming from. So we changed the sport from basketball to pickleball, what's gonna prevent the fights? Nothing. But I think the people who will be using it to play are gonna be different. The older kids that it's basketball is their life and they're there. Well, it's gonna be a different crowd, we hope. It'll be a different crowd to do the
Yeah,
pickleball.
that was my thinking, you
I
know?
think one of the benefits is that, I guess I haven't been a fan of duplicating efforts. And I do think we have two identical basketball courts, one at Pittman, one at Johnson,
It'd be something
and they're
different.
so close together. I think it would be nice to offer something different.
Yeah.
I don't think it's prohibitive for the same people that would visit the basketball court at Johnson Park to come to this basketball court. I do think it would be nice to offer something different from that perspective, not necessarily focusing on who's using it, but just offering more as a city.
Yeah.
That, hey, we don't just offer basketball, now we're offering basketball and a pickleball option as well. I think that would be a positive.
Also, if we look at the lighting at Johnson Park, because it's awfully dim. On the pavilion, it's almost pitch dark under
Sure.
there.
We can look at
It's horrible. And I don't feel safe and I'm sitting in the thing doing Pokemon.
It always comes back to Pokemon.
We will look at.
Gets me outside.
Right.
Okay, are we comfortable with what we've discussed?
We're good.
Cool, I'm gonna adjourn this meeting at 4:16 p.m. Thank you, everybody, great meeting. Were you taking notes while you were over there?
He wasn't on